The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel or wherever you listen to the podcast. We appreciate the ones. Help us reach our goal. Get to 1,000 subscribers so we can bring you more quality content and great Latinos like the one we have today. Today, we have a producer, engineer, recording artist, writer, and possibly future actor. Verified artist on Spotify. Steve Garcia, Steve G.
What's going on, man?
Kid Punch, also known.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. How you doing
brother.
today?
Appreciate you having me, man. I'm good.
How you doing?
Good.
How's your day been?
Man, crazy, hectic. I got off work, my day job, and then went straight to the studio at home and started working on some records now that I can finally record and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. We're going to get into that, all that. But first, take care of some business. Preguntas al Chile. So we got some graphics playing right now for the ones that are
Preguntas
not
al Chile.
on the YouTube. Go check it out. Little fun, little
check it out.
Al Chile. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Tacos o tortas?
Dang, tortas.
Corn tortilla or flour tortillas?
Man, flour.
Gorditas or flautas?
Flautas, for sure.
Mexican
Flour flautas. Flour flautas. There you go.
Interesting. Mexican coca or jarritos?
Jarritos, for sure.
Agua de horchata, jamaica or tamarindo?
Horchata. Man, you can't go wrong with that.
Salsa verde, salsa roja?
Verde, for sure.
Menudo, pozole?
That's a hard option. Pozole, though, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Churro or flan?
Man, I got to go with flan for sure.
Okay. Are you over 21?
Do you like flan?
I don't eat it anymore because I don't eat meat, cheese, none of that.
Oh, okay, you're dairy free.
I'm
okay.
Vegan. I'm Mexican, but I eat mostly vegan.
Mexican vegan, dog.
Yeah, that's the way. I'm just saying. Get used to it. Okay, so I used to love it though. But
Yeah, it's
not
great.
No more.
I love it, man.
Yeah, carne asada. I'm sorry, flan sopilla.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had that?
Uh-uh.
You need to try it.
Really?
It's good.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh, you're over 21, right?
I'm over 21.
Okay,
man.
so do you like Corona, Indio, or Carta Blanca beer?
Carta Blanca.
Okay.
Over Corona.
Mm-hmm. Tequila or mezcal?
Mezcal? Oh, I guess tequila, it would depend, right? Because
there's two different ones.
There's two different ones?
Yeah.
There's tequila, then there's mezcal?
Tequila is made from the agave, and mezcal is a different process that they make it.
Okay, gotcha.
And then it's a little bit more...
That's embarrassing that I don't know that.
Like, so that means you don't drink. That's good.
No, bro,
don't get into it. Don't become an alcoholic. So it's a good thing that you don't know. Okay, Valentina, Tapatio, Cholula.
Oh, you know, you're going to probably laugh at me, bro, but I don't like spicy stuff.
Hey,
it don't sit well with my stomach, man.
Some of us were not meant for some spiciness. It's okay with it. Or to drink milk. It's all good.
No.
So if you don't like it, it's all good. What about the, even though it's spicy, but do you like the paletas, the candy?
I do like those. Yeah, like the piña flavored ones.
So we have the sandia, the elote, or the mango ones.
Oh, the sandia is really good.
Okay. What about the conchitas? You got like the brown ones, the white ones, or the pink
conchitas
ones?
is
the concha breads?
Oh.
The pastries?
The little... okay, gotcha.
Ones.
I like the white ones the most, man.
Yeah.
The vanilla, those are good.
Refried beans or borracho beans?
Refried.
Okay. And to you, just in general, whatever comes to mind first, what does Latino mean to you as far as the word itself? Do you identify?
Yeah.
Or what does that mean to you?
Latino, I guess, would mean to me that you identify, obviously, as anyone from South America, I almost feel like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's in your blood, obviously, so you don't necessarily have to be from South America. You have family, you know, like I have Mexican parents. I was born here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I were kind of talking about this, but Texas is still Mexico, bro. Like,
it is. We got tricked into it, but it is.
We're the majority now. So I mean, I think really it just depends on who you are as a person, right? Like, do you represent your family's heritage? Are you proud of that? Are you not? You know, because some people aren't. Like you got some Mexican kids out here that don't speak any Spanish at all, or their parents were kind of against it. So I think embracing the language and embracing the culture, that's really what it means to be Latin, right? Like family, love, like just all that's involved in like that culture, right?
Right.
And obviously, you know, you got the music too. The music, that it's its own thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, surprisingly very, you know, like you hear corridos, norteñas, things like that. It's actually like you ever hear like German music?
Polka and stuff
Yeah, it's like
that.
very similar, right? Like
very
it's
similar.
kind of crazy, those two comparisons. But basically, what I'm getting at is all those things are how you identify as Latino, right? I think carrying that message to like the rest of the generations or like the younger kids now, you know, it's a good thing to do because it keeps the culture alive, right?
We contribute a lot to the world. That's the reason for the name itself.
Yeah.
Because it saved Europe from famine a long time ago, from, you know, tomatoes to corn to all that stuff. You know? So I think that's the reason why I went with what we did, for the same reason, though.
Yeah, no,
and it's
dope,
cultures, not culture, because every Latino have their own thing that they do.
Right.
And then I was telling Josie on the last episode that we did is that it's crazy when we come together, as far as different from like Colombian people, from Puerto Ricans. When we come together as far as doing anything, it comes out really good.
Yeah, for sure, man. I
Yeah.
mean, you put two Latin cultures together, like it's crazy what the outcome can be, you know,
Absolutely.
like, and especially in a community type of format.
Yeah.
Everybody helps everyone, you know.
Where's your family from Mexico? Do you know?
So my parents are from San Luis Potosí,
San Luis.
and they're from a rancho called the Remaderos.
Okay.
It's near like Cerritos, if you've ever like heard of that.
No, but I know Matehuala. I know of Matehuala. I don't know
And
Matehuala.
I would be lying to you if I tell you like where that is geographically in Mexico. But yeah, my parents are from there, and
Have you visited before?
yeah, no, I used to go all the time when I was a kid. Probably from like the age of like very young, maybe like 5, 6, all the way up to about 14, 15. We used to go every year,
That's nice.
every December, and they're used to. This was the cool part because you know, like I'm glad that they took me because, you know, now that we're talking about the background of cultures and all that, it taught me how to speak Spanish better ultimately too, because here you're not really like, my parents didn't give me a book, they didn't give me none of that. Like it was like me picking it up by watching them speak it type of thing. But going there, seeing how my parents grew up, seeing how my grandparents currently live, and, you know, because where they're from, there's no running water still. Like they get their water from like a well type of thing.
That's true.
But in the town over, that's where they have running water and stuff. But you know, going there every year definitely like taught me to, you know, plant my roots in that, and still it just humbled you. You know what I mean? Like if I feel like if I didn't have that experience as a kid, probably wouldn't be so grateful for what I am now. You know what I mean?
I keep telling people that here, because I come from a place in Mexico too. It's a little town where we didn't have running water for like, we get water for 2 or 3 months at a time, and then we don't have water.
Dang.
And then we have to go get it off some wells too.
Like a burro carrying that. Like
No, we were the burros.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had to, with a freaking stick with 2 buckets carrying all the way from one place to the other, you know?
Dang.
So when I tell people that we have it easy, I don't think they can grasp the idea of how easy it is here.
Yeah.
You literally, if you have a job, or even if you don't have a job, then you can still try to get some assistance to get help. And then you can easily go to the market or anywhere and get you some water and have something to drink. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like it's hard to explain that to somebody who's never seen it, right? Like it's like, oh, they could do this, or they could. It's like, no, they really can't,
they
bro.
really can't.
You know, like there's not even vehicles there, like where my grandparents are from. They still ride horses and donkeys and shit. You know what I'm saying?
My mom told me a story about pozole, where we from. She remembers the day when she was younger, of the day the pozole arrived to the town where we were at. So they didn't have pozole
Prior to that.
Somebody brought it in from out of town, and they saw the recipe, and they started
making
it.
What?
That's crazy.
That's pretty
right?
cool though. Like
That
if you think
is.
about it,
That is crazy.
you just
to
have
me.
like this amazing food show up.
Yeah, and I was like, "What? What do you mean you have
What is
pozole?"
this?
Yeah, we know it all our life. What do you mean?
What's it called, pozole?
Yeah. So, any family members for you that do music, or you the only one that
You know,
took on that?
as far as like anyone before me, not that I know of. Like my parents, super into it. I guess like my dad every morning would be blasting like Ramon Ayala or whatever, like 6 a.m. and I'm like crusty eye, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my mom, I would say, would be the closest because she would just sing in church.
Nice.
And or like, you know, like they would do like the rosarios at home.
Oh yeah.
And then like my mom was the one that you could hear. Out of like all 40 people.
Hey, it's a skill. There's not a lot of people that can do the rosario and then be able to sing.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Like my lungs aren't as strong as hers, but definitely I think maybe that's where it comes from. they have a love for music, but they don't make it.
And Rosarios can go for a while.
And Rosarios go for like 2-3 hours, depending on what's involved. You got putting baby Jesus to rest, or you're waking him up, whatever it is. And then there's the food. Mm-hmm. That was my favorite part about that. Like,
I think everybody's waits there.
The tamales,
anticipation to
chocolate.
Okay, so you were born and raised in Texas, but there was a small town, right? What was the town?
Yeah, it's a small town called Leonard. Kind of like, I don't know, about 1,500 people, 2,000 people around there. My graduating class was like 40.
Really?
Yeah, like it was small.
Wow.
Everybody knew everybody.
Small.
And then I worked at the grocery store there too in town. Yeah.
That's what's up.
So like I knew everybody, bro.
And then now you live here in the Dallas area, right? In Dallas.
Yeah, I live in Dallas now.
Do you remember the first song that you listened to? Because I remember you told me about hip hop, and your brother introduced you to it by 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
But do you remember the actual song? Would be like, oh.
Man, it's hard to say because obviously even before like my brother got close like that and we would do those things like there was stuff on radio, and I think at the time I was listening to like you remember Radio Disney, like Shaggy.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly they were playing it. Now that I think about it, Radio Disney playing Shaggy wasn't me, or like whatever. Who Let the Dogs Out? You got songs like that I obviously heard first before like any like actual hip hop rap. But I think the first was probably, I want to say like Lil Flip. Lil Flip was probably like the very first artist I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then out of Latinos, the first Latino I ever heard I think was probably like, I don't even know. Maybe might have been Baby Bash, might have been SPM. I don't remember which one exactly.
Yeah. You know what's crazy now to me, and I don't know if you realize this, right? Because he introduced you to Paul Wall, and you actually are going to be opening up for Paul Wall at the Carne Asada.
Yeah, man, that's crazy to me. Like, I was just telling somebody about this the other day in another podcast. Was, a lot of people don't know this, but like sometime last year, I was going through like all this depression stuff. I was like kind of like ready to kind of quit and stop music all like completely. And that was around the time that like Sonia reached out and she said, "Hey, I got this festival that I'm throwing. I'd love you to be a part of it." And ever since then, it's kind of just opened doors for me as an artist when it comes to collaborating with others or just moving down and making progress as an artist, right? And now this year we're doing it again, and now we got Paul Wall, we got Slim Thug, we got Nina Sky, like all these artists I grew up listening to. Yeah. So it's crazy to think about, man. It really is. So
real quickly, a plug for them again for linking me up with you and letting me know about you.
Shout out.
Yeah, big shout out going out to Sonia Kilo, Stephanie, and the whole crew putting it together. Brought to you by Pizza Patron, performing live. Yes. One of the bigger names is Slim Thug, Nina Skies, and Paul Wall.
Yep.
Of course, you have Bo Bunny, Big Tug, El Dusty, Ray Burger,
Alex Aguilar, shout out.
Beatriz Gonzalez, Nate Dogg, Texas Cake, Steve Garcia, Josie, Sol de la Cumbia, and the Kid Brothers. And this is all happening May 29, 2022.
Get your tickets.
Yeah. Authentic recipes from the vendors and the food vendors are going to be there. So make sure you get your tickets.
And let me tell y'all though, like the food, I've tried most of those food vendors.
You do the videos, right?
Bro,
for the food?
Yeah, I shot a few of the promos with them, and like we got to try some of that stuff. And man, I'm telling you, like I had a little bit of it last year, but some of the vendors weren't there. And so they did bring some by in the studio and we tried some out, and man, so good. Y'all are gonna miss out. Like if you haven't bought tickets, you better start having like FOMO or something, because this is really good stuff.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah. And she's gonna have a vegan option also for myself.
Shout out. Hey, you already got your tickets, right, bro?
I'm gonna get my tickets.
If not, I got you, bro.
I'm gonna get my tickets. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna swing by. I'm definitely gonna check it out. As a spectators, just look around, walk around. Everything that they've been putting out just makes it sound really exciting. Yeah. And then of course I had her, and I talked to her here. She told me about how the whole idea came to be. So I thought it was super dope. Yeah. And yeah, of course.
She's a talented artist, man. She's a great entrepreneur. She's driven, motivated. Like shout out Sonia for sure, because absolutely. She's definitely opened a lot of doors for me, and she's just a homie, you know what I'm saying? So shout out. Yo,
so your experience for the first Carne Asada as far as your performance, how did you feel about it?
The first one around, this is probably like the best part about it to me is, you see me right now, like I'm very laid back, I'm very like chill, but I get this reaction every single time I get on stage and I come off. People are like, I wasn't expecting that, like the energy, and it carried to the next like artist, and so like I really love that like surprise element that I give people, because like I it's almost like I want to say it's like a switch that turns on in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of nervous leading up to the performance. Like I'm standing by the stage, like pacing a little bit. You know what I mean? Like thinking all these things that could go wrong. Like, oh, I'm gonna trip over a wire or something. But like like it's all great energy, and it went well. Like the crowd received it really, like I think great at the end of the day. And again, that interaction that I have with people afterwards are like, whoa, like that was unexpected. I love giving that shock factor.
I like that because I am seeing different events before. I've done clubs and different things like that. Now I just do more private gigs and stuff too, but I get this little feeling too sometimes. And then even before, when I was on the regular terrestrial radio for a little while, I get the same feeling. But then I used to say to myself, I started saying it to myself, if this was the last day of your life, would this be something that you would be doing? And it was like, always, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then boom, just
exactly, man. Like you do what you love at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah. Because that helps me, like, this will be the last thing. Like, this is what you want to do. And be like, yep.
Right,
and
right. You don't want to go to sleep and not wake up, doing something that you regret not
turn
doing.
Back and you didn't want to do it.
Man. Don't know that feeling, bro.
Yeah, that's true. So what was it about? So I know that your brother introduced you to Little Flip, Mike Jones, and all the Texas artists, mainstream artists, and then, of course, some of the Latino artists. But what was it about the Latinos that you felt more connected to?
Well, definitely, like, so when I was introduced to the, like, Lil Flip and all those artists, like Paul Wall, Slim Thug, Mike Jones, I definitely already felt, like, a passion for it. I was like, okay, like, I really want to try, like, doing what they do, like, rapping, right? Yeah. But to me, at the time, it felt so, like, siloed to one race in a way. Like, back then, it wasn't common to see Latinos making music or being in the spotlight or considered mainstream, right? So to me, it almost seemed like impossible. Like, I was like, I probably can't do it. Like, it's not really, like, for me.
So there was nobody that you could look up that looked like you?
Not in that time, no. Not in that time. And I'm sure there were artists already. You had, like, Big Pun and you had, like, all these other people, but I just wasn't exposed to them yet. And so once I got exposed to those artists, that's when I was like, oh, like I could really do this.
Like Cypress Hill, Little Rob.
Like Cypress Hill, Little Rob, yep. Yeah, Amanda Perez.
Yeah, Amanda Perez.
Frankie J. Which speaking of, and Frankie J, man, like that's probably like, I would say like my idol. Like I love that dude. His work is amazing. Yeah. Dude can sing like crazy.
Yes. What were you going to say about Amanda?
So what I was going to say is, because we started talking about the Latino artists, like I actually got to open for like Lil Rob and Baby Bash and MC Magic earlier last year.
Texas Theater.
At Texas Theater. Yeah. And so that was a really cool experience.
Shout out to Sinbad. I know the dude.
Yeah, shout out Sinbad, man. That's the homie too. But yeah, we got to do that show and that was wild for me too, just because again, those were like the first artists that influenced me in that way. And so to be able to open up for them and actually like do my music to their crowd, their audience, that was cool.
I got to introduce Little Robin to the stage, and I've MC for Little Flip. I brought him into the venue. Yeah, MC the event for Slim Thug too, and then the one that I felt more was bringing Little Rob to the stage. You feel more like connected to that, right?
Yeah, like you're proud to like be in that presence, that feeling of that community that came to see that person.
Yeah, right? And it was actually Sinbad that told me, like, we were doing the event for I think when he was the station at that time. Yeah, and he told me like, do, and then of course I love to get in front. Like I work the crowd when I'm
like, I like
mic.
attention. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, not even that about it, but a little bit, of course. Of course. But I just like their reaction. I was talking to one of our guys that works here. Like their reaction. How can you just say certain things and get a reaction and get the people really like
crowd
involved?
Work. Yeah, crowd work.
Crowd working. So that's what I like, really. I mean, they're not going to know me probably, and I'm okay with that. But the fact
But it's
at
the
that
energy.
moment...
It's the energy in that moment.
At that moment that they were able to do certain things that felt a certain way, then I'm cool with that. If they want to remember, it's cool. If they don't, there's 8 billion people in the world. It feels really nice to have attention at times for that moment, but the moment itself of them, the way that they react, is just something priceless.
Yeah, man. Crowd working is like one of the I think more fun things about the performances for sure, because you get to interact with them, you get to connect with them, and it makes them feel involved in your show. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's about giving people like a good moment, a good feeling.
Yeah, it's like a moment in time, right?
Yeah, because you don't want people thinking about like their job while they're at a show. You want to like take their minds off that. You want to entertain them. They're there to see a show. They're there to have a good time. So crowd working is definitely something that I've been working on myself. But it's amazing whenever you get the reactions that you're asking for and the things that you're trying to accomplish and you see it happen. It's like probably like the dopest moments that you get.
Whenever I used to MC for clubs, I used to go with that mentality too, that everybody's been working the whole freaking week. Yeah. And they get into Friday, Saturday, and they just want to get let loose. Yeah. And there's a moment in time at every club, it's about 12:31 where everybody just, they had a couple of beers, but they don't care about anything. You can see it on their faces. They're just like vibing to the max. And then you were in there just with them, and then you're like, oh, that's fun.
But that's why all the drunk uncles would be that way at parties, bro, because they're like, chambeamos toda la semana y ando pedo. Yeah.
Hey, man, if they can relax, they worked all week, they deserve a little bit something. Okay, so you started actually producing at 13 years old, right? Do you remember the system or the program, or how did you even begin to?
Yeah, so the first program I used was FL Studio, Fruity Loops. Everyone's familiar with that one, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't even have like a keyboard or anything. I just had the computer keyboard. So I was like using that to like do everything.
The keyboards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you can have it to a setting where you can use the computer keyboard.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it kind of maps it out like a piano in a way.
Calm down, meaning Kanye West over here.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, for sure.
That's cool, man.
But everything I know, everything I've done is self-taught. You know, like
YouTube videos and
YouTube videos, tutorials, or just messing around and figuring things out. You know, from the writing to the producing to the recording and engineering, like that's all just self-taught things that I had way too much time as a kid, obviously. Like I just didn't go out like ever. I would just lock myself in my room and just like head down, focus on that all the time.
But you save yourself so much money in studio time to having to be able to do those pieces. You know
I mean, in the beginning, you know, like I still rented out studio time. Mm-hmm. You know, like I would go to the studio in Garland. I don't remember the exact name. I think it was some generic name like Garland Recording Studio or something like that. It was off like Shiloh or what's that road? I think it was like North Shiloh Road or something. But I used to go there, and up until maybe when I turned 15, I started buying like my own equipment because it started coming more like available to people. Yeah. And I was working since I was about, I would say 10, 11.
You've been working since 10, 11?
Yeah, like I've been doing, like I used to work with my uncle doing like landscaping stuff. And then once I turned 15, I actually got that job at the grocery store.
You're going to put him in jail, the Theo.
Yeah.
That's your child labor.
Hey, keep it on the low, bro.
That's how I used to be, though. I started working at a car shop. My dad took me when I was 12, 13 years old.
But did you ask to work, though? Were you? They just took you?
Nah,
bro. See, I was always like, I want to work. Like take me with you. And
I'll be honest, I'm Mexican, but I don't work like Mexican. I'm not trying to be mean. But it's true, bro. I'm not that type. I'm just like this type. Office type.
Just this type.
Office type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
He said I'm office type.
I can do the manual labor. No big deal. But preferably,
shout out.
I just rather chill. Hey, shout out to them. They work really hard.
Shout out to the office Mexicans too, bro.
To all the Mexicanos, all the doctors and everything. Shout out to y'all. But again, this Mexican, I feel like my ancestors worked so many hours already, bro. Like, I'm tired, bro.
Over to you.
Like, I'm not carrying this time. We'll stop.
Hey, my ancestors worked too hard, dog. It carried over to me.
That's what I'm saying.
Tired.
We're going to stop it right here. We're not going to do that no more. So, yeah. So, you wanted to work at 10 years old.
Yeah, no, I kept telling my uncle and my mom, I was like, can you ask my uncle if he's got work? Like, because I wanted to make money. I wanted to be able to afford stuff like that because
so the main purpose was to buy studio stuff.
Or what I did at the time, I was trying to buy features from artists too.
At that time?
Are you serious? Like, bro, I did my first what was that, like what was that money transfer? Like it was a paper you would do before.
Oh,
like
Western Union.
Western Union.
Uh-huh.
So I actually have a song with Zigzag from the MB Riders, but I never released it because
Why don't you
because
now?
I was so self-conscious about like
But you still have it though, right? It's still yours, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's still mine. I don't know if I have the files anywhere, but like I have it somewhere because I pulled it up like maybe a year ago. I remember that for sure. But
You got the rights to it.
I have that. Yeah, no, I have that. So I could still use the verse for sure at some other point, but I need to find access to that email again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Find
Anybody
it.
finds that password, holler at your boy.
What? You lost your password?
Yeah, I don't know the password of that email. I had like 6 email
But
addresses.
what age were you when you actually, and how do you even connect with him to try to get a feature with him?
It was through MySpace, I want to say, bro.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was either MySpace or it was something else. It was some social media, but I just remember I connected with him, and it might have even been Facebook. I dropped a comment because he was saying something along the lines of like, whoever wants a feature, you know, blah, 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 to this email.
All right.
So I emailed, got the price, and I you know, sent the money Western Union. And
You want to say how much?
it was like 300, 400.
Really?
It wasn't that much at the time. So like he was one of the more affordable people that I could get on.
But it's still within our community, and as far as the music, it's still a big deal.
And to me, it was a big deal because I was like, oh, like this dude was a part of MB Riders, and MB Riders is legendary. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. And you know, that goes to say for like MC Magic, like that was one who I was trying to get at the time too, but obviously he was way out of my price range at
It's
that
still
age.
pricey right now.
Yeah, and he's still pricey. But that was also, you know, jumping back to the performance at Texas Theater, like getting to like see him like do his pre-show warm up and set everything up was, man, it's dope.
He does a great show live.
Yeah, he does.
All of them do. Little Rob, he does not miss a single lyric on his freaking verses.
And you know what's crazy? Like the longevity that those artists have had when they're not on radio all the time, like these other pop artists. Wild.
Okay, so it's a thing with Latinos, bro. Like if you're a Latino, if you get a hit, out of one hit, you can live for a long time getting booked.
I feel like that's
places.
right, bro. Like, yeah,
it's true.
I feel like it's true because I mean, you see all these artists that were in the spotlight at one point, they're still touring.
Big Gemini
Might
not be the biggest thing
the
here in Dallas.
Hypnotized
Sometimes
record.
they're bringing to bigger shows, but he goes to Arizona, New
All the
Mexico,
time.
and gets paid well
all
to
the
perform.
time, bro.
All the time.
All the time. And he had that Hypnotized song
Yep.
and
And a
like
couple other
and a
ones.
couple of other ones, I think.
But it wasn't
And-
album after album. It was just a couple songs that he can keep them fed. you know?
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
But that's wild, man. Like you get enough exposure on one song, like like you said, you live on.
But
it
those
forever.
songs are classics, though.
They
The ones
are.
that
They're
they
timeless
have.
records.
Oh yeah,
they're timeless records.
And I like what's his name? Little Rob and MC Magic's performers. They do.
Yeah,
you know, you
they
get your
bring
money's
they
worth.
bring the energy, and the people are like singing word for word everything. That's why that's the type of fan base I want. Like
Absolutely.
I want people singing back word for word like what I'm out there singing. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you mean. Okay, so now as far as something that you're passionate about is to help other people, up and coming artists and producers and things like that, to show them certain things that you know how to do. Why do you think it's important to you to do that?
Definitely because I didn't have that as a independent artist growing up. I you know, and this is kind of shitty to say, but I would reach out to people for like help sometimes, and they would always get like, don't have the time for you, or like just some sort of answer where it's like just shutting you down, really, you know. And it's like really you just need a little bit of guidance. And so you know, I think that actually really drove my want and my need to learn more on my own. And now that I'm more in a position, I guess, now to help others and people who haven't really had much experience yet, you know, like I work with a couple of artists that they're fairly new into their careers, you know, maybe in the last 5 years or so. And, you know, I've given them beats for free. I've written stuff for them. I've given them free studio time, like just because I believe in them so much that I think that they are capable of taking it to the next level, right? So I really enjoy doing that. I like writing for people. I like sharing ideas, any sort of advice, even if it's just registering for like where you can get your royalties and talking through things like that. Because at the end of the day, as an artist, you're a business, and if you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
like
so,
that. I like that you think about it in that manner, right?
Yeah.
Because I like like I was telling Josie too, like I like the fact that you were able to send me stuff immediately, like, you know, and I'm not to say like I say jump and you say how high, but like it shows your professionalism as far as how serious you are with it.
You have to,
because you have to take it as a business.
Exactly.
Like I was telling her, you got to treat it like if it's like a regular job. Because if you show up late, you'll get fired or they're talking.
Hey, and I was on time today, but that's considered late, so I already apologize for that, bro.
You were good. You were good. We exactly with the time we needed to be here. We were already expecting, and it was last minute too.
Yeah.
So, and I know you have things to do, but I do appreciate it. But
no, yeah, man.
Like I was telling her, I saw an interview with Akon. I was talking about Eminem, and say he goes to the studio at 9. Takes a lunch and leaves at 5.
Treats it like a job.
Like a freaking
like
job.
A job, bro.
Because that way he has time to do stuff and
yeah, he still has time for his family, his kids, you know, things like that. And
they're gonna grow up before he knows he hasn't even know who they are.
Exactly.
Anymore, things like that.
Exactly. But no, it's all about, for me, definitely helping artists and trying to get them through their own journey, right? Help them a little bit, guide them. And because again, I think I really wanted that as a upcoming artist as well. And now I have more of that support, right? Like I have like Sonia, for example. I have Stephanie and all them. Like they're really been helpful with opening doors and just teaching me things that I didn't know. So definitely I like to pass that along to other people and make sure that, you know, they at least have some sort of idea of what they want to do with their careers and that they understand what they're getting into. And you know, because as artists, like I post about this all the time, like you don't make much off of streaming. You have to like jump over to other means of making money, whether that's you know, engineering sessions, writing for other people,
studio sessions,
merchandise. You know, like that. Touring now is the thing. You know, that's how a lot of artists eat. Even the big major artists.
Because they get to keep all that.
They keep all that for themselves, and the label doesn't touch it. Distributors don't touch it. But like you're streaming, distributors are touching that. Labels, all those things.
And then you're by yourself, putting it out by yourself. You the only.
Yeah, and even as an independent artist, you're still getting money taken away from you from distributors.
Yeah.
And whoever else gets
Spotify paying like a
cent. Bro, they got me out here working for nothing.
Okay, so let's touch back on that part whenever you were reaching out, because I want to get a little bit more perspective as far as that. Like, is that because they were well known and somewhat established, or why do you feel like they didn't want to help, or why?
Nah, you know, it's like this one artist that I'm talking about. I met him at a show here locally in Dallas. He approached me, right? We were doing like this open mic. He approached me and he was like, "Hey, can you like help me put some music on this USB?" He's like, I completely forgot to do this, or like blah blah. I don't remember the exact scenario, but he had given me this flash drive to put music on to give to the DJ. I was like, yeah, for sure. And then he just started talking, got to know him a little bit. I saw him around after that. I started connecting with different producers. I told you I was a part of that Creators Factory initiative and being in their studio. And they were working with him as well. And we just kind of crossed paths. And him and I just became really good friends. And by the way, his name's Psyche Mind. Dope kid, young, really talented rapper, hip hop rapper. But he, you know, what I like about artists like him is that you can tell they're new because of how they carry themselves, right? Yeah. Like you're very young, a little naive at times, but like even with recording, he would do it a certain way in the beginning, and then like as time went on and we were like trying to coach him through certain things, now he's like, I'm making music that I really want to make now, and you know, but he's had other help other than me, right? But you know, I've just given him a few pointers here and there and have done things for him that have just kind of helped him along the way, right? But I guess just seeing like people that are really hungry for it, and you know, I guess you see a little bit of yourself in it at the same time. Yeah. And
but what about the ones that didn't want to help you? That you reached out and what was their excuses as far as them not wanting to help? Maybe they didn't know.
I think that a lot of that was just they didn't know who I was. They didn't even have the time to even look into me, or you know, again, I was young, so probably
were they established artists already?
Not really. I mean, like they were established in some sort of way, not on like a global scale by any means. More of like locally, and you know.
But you felt like they know what they were doing, really, or maybe they just didn't know what they were doing either.
Probably both, a little bit of both, right? Like they probably, you know, because nobody really has a blueprint, right, to the music business. It is sometimes it's just right timing, right place. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
You know, excuse me. You know, you just have right time, right place, and it just happens for you. But for others, it's you got to take the long road sometimes. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is. I really don't even think about it much anymore because I'm just like, that happened for a reason, obviously.
Well, yeah, now you get to help
and
people.
now I'm in a better position to do that for others. So it's not really something that I ever put too much thought into, but who knows? It could have been anything, man. It might have just been, people who didn't want to help. That they're maybe a little more self-centered or something. So
that's true. Okay, so what about the acting part? Because I know you say you were interested in that. Where did that come from, and where's that growing from?
I don't know, man. Like I don't know what it is, but like I'm always constantly like spewing back like lines from movies, comedy movies and stuff. And now
what's your favorite line to say?
You put me on the spot, bro. What is that one Will Ferrell line where he's always like, nobody knows what that means, but it's provocative.
It's provocative.
Like I'll drop randoms. Like if you ever hang out with me outside, like just at a bar or anything, like I'm just dropping random movie lines and I'm doing the facial expressions. I like the idea of acting, and I think that would be a cool route to go. Yeah, for sure.
You're on TikTok doing those?
Not yet, bro. Like I'm still trying to get the like timing down on some stuff, right? But I'm practicing. It's gonna come soon.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And so you like to be involved with the community help. You were part of a toy drive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Why do you feel it's important to work with the community or help out the community?
Definitely, I would say I have a really like soft spot for people that are a little less unfortunate than you, right? I guess the proper term is less fortunate, not less unfortunate. And so just seeing like, for example, at that toy drive that we did, like we brought toys, we got to see at the end of the show how many toys had been collected, and just thinking of like how many kids were going to like have something for Christmas, right? Like just something in general like that. But at the same time, like even during that show, I had another experience, and it was this homeless guy who was walking around with his dog that was like hurt. He had a bandage on his leg. And I was on stage, like it was funny. So it was like this makeshift stage on a trailer where they were putting all the toys and everything. And so I'm performing. This guy like comes around, and I see him like dancing in front of the stage, like getting it in. And he's walking with his dog, and I like signal him to come up. And he comes up on stage, and he's dancing around with his dog. He hands me the leash, and then I'm dancing around with the dog while I'm performing. Like it was just a cool vibe because I got to see him leave, and he just had like the biggest smile on his face, and he was just really happy. Yeah, and I could tell I made his day, by involving him in that, and that made me feel good too. So
that was dope.
Like
super dope.
And I have clips of that. I need to post that because that was probably like one of the coolest moments as an artist.
It sounds like.
But yeah, like doing more things like that involved in the community, like whether it's toy drives, whether it's like food drives. I've done those before, where I'm actually like packing the cans and everything in boxes, getting them ready to ship. Like I've worked those before. I just like helping people out and doing my part to make sure that, people get something, right?
That's appreciated, bro, because they say a lot. It doesn't cost a lot to be a good person, but sometimes a lot of people don't want to take the extra step just to do anything just because.
Like people have a hard time giving even just someone on the side of the road like $1. Yeah. Because they always think like, well, they're probably just using it for drugs.
But it's none of your business.
But it's none of your business what they use it for. Like it's the intention, right? Like you mean to give them money so that they can do something good for themselves, or in the worst case scenario, you don't have cash, but you just left the restaurant with leftovers. Like I'll offer that. Yeah. And
or some water or something like
right?
that.
Like just anything. And if they're grateful for it, they're gonna take it. They'll accept it. And if they don't want it, then obviously, then they wanted money for something else or something. But that's not any of your business at the end of the day.
I feel you
right?
on that, because I used to think about the same thing sometimes in my mind. But then I started thinking like, it's none of my business. Like my intention, if I see the person and I really feel
But that's growth, bro.
Yeah.
That's growth. And so everybody will feel like that at some point probably. Yeah. But if you just accept the thought of like, I'm intending to help somebody, that's what really matters.
Like even when somebody steals from you, it sounds funny, right? But whenever somebody steals, like maybe they needed that stuff, Like it sucks that they took it from you, but like, okay, maybe I needed it. Like,
look, man, anybody steals my lunch, I'm getting mad. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's hangry. Bro, you'll be hangry, but it's just
I can't forgive anyone touching my food, dog.
But I'm just saying, like, up to even that point, after just in general in life, right, after a while, you're just like, it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. You just do it with the intention and let it be.
Okay, so now you have a new song that's coming up and it's dropping. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's dropping April 29th, so at the end of this month. Mm-hmm. It's called Tu Sabes, and it is produced by Ray Berger. Meaning the beat was made by Ray Berger. And honestly, like I've been holding on to this song for like the last 2.5 years.
Why is that?
Don't even get me started, bro. Like
why?
Like, I've been like so I had like
Mr. Procrastinator. Why?
Yeah. No, it's more of like Mr. Perfectionist because like I had recorded it at one point. We did like this little demo. I didn't like it. Ray almost ended up kind of scrapping it, and not intentionally, but it was just because we both kind of put it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I was thinking about it. I was like, bro, I was like, whatever happened to that beat that you had sent me that one time? And
he told me to put it in the trash.
No. He's like, oh, I still got it. You know, like, so I ended up buying the beat from him just because it was originally intended for one of his projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like writing for it. And it was one of our first collaborations. And so I just wrote to it, made this little melody and recorded some stuff, and it sounded okay. But then, you know, you get into the whole like mindset of like, oh, but this needs to change. Oh, but this needs to be a little louder. Oh, but maybe I need to change this drum, or, you know, like you start thinking about those things, and it, to me, it bugs the hell out of me. Like I don't know why, but if something sounds off, I will re-record it. I will change all these things, and then it's just like a rabbit hole.
So do you
like,
think you need to learn how to just let it go?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Have other inputs from people like Ray Berger, or people that know how to, and they're like, you know what, this is good. You can just
no, and that's definitely what I did now that it's releasing, because I've been so over it, bro. Like that, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna record it one more time. I'm gonna just do the mix and leave it as is. And I sent it to one person and got feedback from him, and I was like, that's it. I was like, that's it. Like, do the adjustment, send it back. He says okay, then cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what happened, and so now it's in the process of being uploaded to the interwebs.
Yeah, because it will be a never-ending
streaming.
process with somebody that is perfectionist. It just would never be ending. You know what I mean? You could go drag on forever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I got to learn is just, you know, let it go, let it be, because otherwise I'm just holding myself back, and people will never hear it, right? Yeah. It's selfish.
Absolutely. You need to let the people, take it in.
Exactly.
And then don't deprive them from your...
Nah, man. I'm so sorry, y'all. Don't hate me.
And you're performing, as we mentioned, the Carne Asada May 29th, and you're also releasing something else coming up, right?
Yeah, so after that, it's called Mal de la Cabeza. That's
I like the title of that.
Yeah, that's more of like a up-tempo, very like party-ish type of vibe. But that's coming out after that at some point. I actually was working on that earlier this week, so... probably going to be done here in like another couple of weeks, and then I'll schedule a release for that. And,
what is the process for you to do music? Because people do it different ways. They either select the beat, start from scratch. Sometimes they even write something or they punch in. What is your process for you to do music?
It really depends. You know, sometimes it is just like a beat that I'm working on, or a beat that Ray will send over. Mm-hmm. And
is that your main producer that you would say right now?
Right now at the moment, yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say that Ray and I have both just been kind of like, I guess the reason why we really work together often is because the songs work. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is like they've been picked up on globalization radio, Pitbull's station.
That's dope. Congrats.
You know, we've had DJs spinning it, so like we get paid from those songs pretty often. And you know, now that Ray's also blown up on TikTok, you know, his numbers have gone up like crazy, which also mean that my numbers have gone up like crazy due to that. Mm-hmm. So it's just a good dynamic, you know what I mean? Like we work well. He sends me something, he trusts me with it, doesn't really try to micromanage or say like, no, change this, change that. Like most of the time it's just like, oh, this is great. Like I love the way that this sounds, you know, and then we just release it.
So it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Overall. Yeah, it's a vibe overall. But I work with other producers from time to time. I have a good friend of mine, 91 Hertz. He's really cool. He does really dope stuff. But at times I also do my own beats because, you know, I'll get a melody that I start playing and then I like it and I build drums and then all of a sudden I'm writing something to it. You know what I mean? So, nice. But more recently, I guess I've just been working more with other people's stuff because I get tired of doing my own beats as well. Like I find different inspiration, different things to do. You know what I mean? Like,
so your process, it could vary depending on what song and then what comes
it could be either the beat comes first or, you know, in the case of Tu Sabes, I'll tell you the quick context story of that. It was, what was that song with Bad Bunny and Drake?
Mia.
Dile que tú eres mi. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So I was having horrible writer's block, right? Like horrible. I could not write a song to save my life for like a good 3 months. And it was frustrating. And so one day Ray hits me up and he's like, hey, write to this beat. And I open the YouTube link and it's the Mia song. He's like, write to this, like do your own version of this song. And so I started writing the lyrics to Tu Sabes basically. And then I sent him those lyrics and he built the beat around it basically. And he was like, what do you think of this? And then just as time went on, we changed a few things, re-recorded, and so it just kind of developed into what it is.
How many versions of it is there, do you think, total? A lot?
There's a lot, bro. Like I, and this is funny, you'll hear producers say this, but we really do save files like, Tu Sabes version 2.2 drum lower 2 decibel. Like that's the title of as you save it as, because you have to have references after so many versions. But I've done it to the point where it's like I've mixed something to the point where it just sounds horrible. It was sounding good and then I just overdid something and then it's just like, what is this?
Overkill on it.
Yeah, and so then, things get scrapped or just pushed back or on hold, whatever. But
that's dope.
We're learning to let go, right? We're learning to let go and just
I think
release
it's
stuff.
like you said, you can't keep the people waiting and just deprive them of something that could be great.
Exactly. So we'll see where this one goes. And
Absolutely.
I think it'll be a great record and people have already been kind of reacting to it very well on the little preview that I posted on Instagram.
Okay. So one thing that I have, maybe I wasn't able to find, or maybe I'm not good. I didn't see any visuals for you.
I don't do a lot of videos, and I think a lot of that before was just I didn't have the funds.
Okay.
A lot of it was I didn't have the funds. Now I have more funds to do that. But now it's all about trying to find someone that can actually help me execute it the way that I want it.
Yeah. There's a lot of dope videographers in the DFW.
Yeah, a lot of them, man.
Some of that work with Sonia Kilo, Prophecy.
Yeah.
There's KV. There's a few other ones that I know. It just depending on
yeah,
your
definitely.
budget.
I'm definitely going to connect with a few of those guys because I've seen their work, and again, being the perfectionist that I am, I want the visual to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And the times that I've had treatments written for these songs, it hasn't been what I envisioned for it yet. So we'll keep working on it. But yeah, there's going to be more videos for sure. Sonia and I literally, she's like, hey, we got to do a video. Hey, we got to do a video. And I'm just like, I know, we got to do a video.
No, she's all about that, but it's like a thing. Like there's like one in like peanut butter and jelly with them, right?
Yeah. I mean, like it's important to have visuals for when you drop a record for sure, because it hits more when people have something to see, and that's a trend that I noticed last year. I was like, well, songs that have videos take off, you know what I mean? So it's definitely more of just, I guess, now me trying to find that person that can really help me execute what I want to bring to life.
The Pursuit of Happiness song with Kid Cudi, it didn't blow up till after the movie.
Yeah.
And that's because people started getting a visual of it. And then, of course, the song itself just became a massive thing.
Yeah, the song.
But you needed like a visual thing to be referenced to.
Yeah.
To be able to give the idea what kind of vibe.
It was. Yeah. It gave people that like, oh, this is dope. Like,
so I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand you and the artist and the budget's not there. It took me a long time to get the budget to get this going. But it costs money. But at the same time, now that you're in a better, I'm telling you, it's gonna take it to another level.
It's definitely gonna take it to another level. Yeah. And trust me, like I've even gone as far as starting to write the treatments myself, because I was like, you know what?
Because this is your vision, right?
Yeah, it's my vision. So it's just more of whiteboarding. So that way, when I do approach somebody, they know like, okay, this is what you want. This is what you're trying to do and accomplish. And again, those are things that as an artist that I've had to learn. Because nobody again has taught me anything. Everything I know I've learned, and just from seeing other people and the way that they carry themselves, like, oh, you whiteboard this and you have examples of this and you set up calls, and it's a business at the end of the day, right? So but they're gonna come soon for sure.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure, and I can't wait to see the final products. All right, so we're running short on time. You got any shout outs, anything?
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that has bought tickets to the Carne Asada for May 29th. I'm in the lead here. Not gonna brag, but I'm in the lead as an independent artist selling tickets there. But not to brag.
Nice.
But no, shout out to everybody that's been supportive. Shout out to Sonia. Shout out to Steph, DJ Elusive, all you guys. Shout out Creators Factory. for always supporting your boy. And shout out Global Latin Podcast, man. Like, you guys,
Thank you.
you know,
Appreciate it.
you guys are holding it down for the Latinos. So appreciate you guys having me on for sure.
Thank you. And big shout out going out to Sonia for the assist. It was last minute, but
Alley-oop.
the alley-oop, and I appreciate it. So,
Yes, sir.
thank you again for coming. And
For sure.
I'm proud of you, bro, for the fact that
Thank
you
you.
came from a smaller town
Yep.
to a bigger town and you started working. And if everything gets taken away from you, the fact that you can still replicate everything because you've been teaching yourself,
Yeah.
that's super, super dope.
Exactly.
And I feel like, again, everybody's music now is really globally, touches different places. So to me, you are a global Latin factor. So
Appreciate
Steve
it, bro.
Garcia, you're a global Latin
Hey.
factor. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it,
And
man.
last question, if anybody was to Google you or search you years from now on some kind of search engine, what do you hope or expect from them to find from you?
A sex tape. No, I'm just kidding. Man, I really just, I would love for them to see, you know, I guess the vision that I'm trying to bring to life with, like how we mentioned with the videos and all that, and just really enjoy the vibe that they see, listen to the music, and just really appreciate it in a way that, you know, has that longevity that we were speaking about earlier. Because I definitely feel like I could be that essentially, and you know, it's all about growing and slowly, you know, scaling and getting to that point. But definitely want to have people just taking away the good vibes, the good music, jamming out, and yeah, basically that's it, man.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
for sure.
All right, man. Well, this was another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. Remember, we are just like you. We have the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Until next time.